Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Welcome to our online teaching academy Ekalaiva, and I welcome you all for the biology class. This is class 12 biology. Here, last class I gave you a clue. Okay, we are going to talk about the different parts of the cerebrum. I think you would have guessed by this time what are the different parts of the cerebrum. Just look here. Here we are highlighting the different parts of the cerebrum. I told you a method to remember also. Just touch and remember like this. This is frontal, parietal, temporal and occipital. Okay, like that the four lobes we are keeping in mind. And here you can see the function of the four lobes also. First occipital, the images and color. Okay, then parietal, it's an information processing center. And then frontal, it's an option, okay, where you can think about it. Then temporal lobe, emotions are stored. This is just lobes. And here we are going to talk about the associated area. A cerebrum, it is a major part of the brain. There we are going to talk about the associated area and what are the important function. For example, if someone is calling you, you'll be turning towards the left side or the right side, okay, where you hear the sound. So what are the association area in the hearing? And then taste, smell, thinking, memory, etc. So many things, everything here we are going to see in the cerebrum with associated area. So listen carefully, what are the different parts of the cerebrum with the function in the associated area. So first, we'll start with premotor. Premotor cortex, okay, this is a premotor cortex region. It coordinates voluntary movement. It's a very important 1-mark question. Which coordinates voluntary movements? Premotor cortex coordinates voluntary movement. And voluntary movement is associated area is primary motor cortex. Okay, there is a major difference between these two things. You may have a confusion in the exam, so listen carefully. This coordinates voluntary movement, where that is only for voluntary movement, which controls the voluntary movement. And central sulcus, we discussed about the sulcus, a groove, a deep depression which goes like this, okay, in the brain, and that you call it as gyri and sulci, and this depression where it is dividing the lobes, that you call it as central sulcus. Okay. Then primary somatosensory cortex, it is for the sensation, okay, some aesthetic value also. Then sensory association area, sensory information, okay, it is going to integrate the sensory information like touch, feel, etc. Okay, even vision. Then visual cortex, higher vision processing. If you see visual, there are different areas in the visual. Okay, one is the visual association area, another one primary visual cortex. Here this is higher vision project, okay, the distance we'll be talking about. And vernix area, this is a very important area, vernix and Broca's area. Speech formation. If somebody is asking you a question, what is your name? You'll think and again you will say your name, right? So that process, that association, are you answering according to the question? Okay, all these area will be associated in this Broca's area. Vernix area, language. Suppose somebody is asking you to present something or ask something, okay, narrate about some story like that. Then that time you are going to say in a language. So that area is vernix area. Auditory association area. So this is the area for listening. Okay. Then primary cortex, another hearing area. So here these are the different types of association area in the cerebrum. So that's a major part of the brain, cerebrum. Next part. Actually 3 parts, forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. In forebrain, already we have completed about the cerebrum. Now we are going to talk about diencephalon. Diencephalon, if you take, it is like a relay, okay, relay and then like a coordinating center. So here in diencephalon, what are the different parts we are going to see? Thalamus, epithalamus, hypothalamus. In next slide, I'll show you the 3 parts. Just we'll see what is diencephalon. It's a primary relay processing center. So here which coordinates with other things and it will produce the result for that. For example, we are going to talk about the 3 major areas, epithalamus, thalamus and hypothalamus. Okay. Actually pituitary gland, where is pituitary gland? This pituitary gland like a lobe-like structure which comes down from the hypothalamus. That pituitary gland we are going to talk in endocrine system. So first, thalamus, epithalamus, hypothalamus. Easy to keep in mind. Thalamus is the area, okay? If this is the area of thalamus, and epi, outer, always epi is nothing but the outer layer. And then hypo is nothing but below. So, above the thalamus, epithalamus, below the thalamus, hypothalamus, right? Here you can see the picture with the position of thalamus, epithalamus and hypothalamus. We'll move to the next one. So, it is acting as a roof. So, these are all again 1 mark oriented question. Epithalamus is acting as a roof and thalamus is a mass of grey matter. Whereas hypothalamus, which connects the nervous system with endocrine system. I told you already there's a lobe-like structure which is hanging down from the hypothalamus, that you call it as pituitary gland. So, again hypothalamus, which is acting as a headmaster, we can say. Actually, we call pituitary gland as a master gland. Okay, pituitary by itself, it is not going to control the body. It is getting information from the other part, that you call it as hypothalamus. So, we can call it as headmaster. Another function, thermostat of our body. Okay, it regulates the thermostat also, as well as thirst, BP, saliva and sweat. Next, another important system. I think first time you are reading this system, limbic system. This one also belongs to forebrain. In forebrain, again I'll repeat, the first part what we saw in the forebrain, cerebrum, which is a major part, and then diencephalon, and then limbic system, the third part. Limbic system, like a 2 mark question it is. If you see the structure of limbic system, it is totally surrounded in one area, okay? The core area we can say. Actually, we can say about cortex region, subcortex region also we can say. And in this, diencephalon is also there, then corpus callosum is also there. This is corpus callosum, and then this area diencephalon. So, all together, it's looking like a lobe-like structure again. So, this limbic system, what is the function? It involved in motivation, emotion, learning and memory. Here a type of memory called episodic memory, long-term memory. Okay? So, we will see in detail what are the parts and the function of limbic system. In limbic system, there are 2 areas, hippocampus and amygdala. You can see the location of hippocampus as well as amygdala. Hippocampus, if you see, it processes our conscious as well as episodic memory, which is long-term memory, works with the amygdala to form emotional charged memories. Memory, if you take, there are different things. The place, okay, as then sense, okay, from that also you will get memory. So, this plays a major role in getting back the memory. Then amygdala, it consists of 2 lima bean-sized neural cluster. It also helps in processing the emotion, especially fear and aggression. Okay, so this is another important limbic system. Totally we are completed about forebrain. So what are the parts of the forebrain? Again we recap, cerebrum and then diencephalon. In diencephalon 3 parts are there. One is epithalamus, thalamus and then hypothalamus. Then next part we saw about the limbic system. Now midbrain. When I say mid, something between, okay, between 2 things. So what are the 2 things? Forebrain, another one hindbrain. So in between it is there, so we call it as midbrain. So what is there in the midbrain? Location, position where it is located, below the cerebral cortex and above the hindbrain. Function, it controls the reflex movement, body and hearing reflexes. Okay. So we are going to see in detail the structure. I'll show you the structure, then we'll come back to that slide. So this is the structure of midbrain. This midbrain consists of 4 lobe-like structures called corpora quadrigemina. And here you can see the aqueduct, cerebral aqueduct. Okay. Then next the region ocular nerve, the nerve supplied by this area which is a nucleus of ocular nerve. And then superior colliculus, the lobes. I told you about the 4 lobes, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So these 4 you call it as corpora quadrigemina. Okay. Now we'll move into this. Midbrain, otherwise called as mesencephalon. Encephalon is nothing but brain. Mesencephalon, midbrain. Prosencephalon, forebrain. Rhombencephalon, hindbrain, right? So this region is a developing vertebrate. You can see tectum and tegmentum. It is another 1 mark question. Okay, what it is composed of? Mesencephalon, tectum and tegmentum. Okay, the midbrain serves important function in the motor movement. So this is a function. Whenever they ask question, they will concentrate in particular part like location and function. In this class, you'll be talking about the location in major, as well as eye, auditory and visual. And one more example I'll tell you. If someone is calling from left side, you'll turn towards the left. Okay, so it's a reflex. And then if you're seeing a light, immediately there is a reflex, again you close your eyes. So all these reflexes controlled by midbrain. Okay, association area is different, reflex control is different. When you talk about midbrain reflex control, it is your eye, neck and head movement. Okay, the reflex, the way you turn according to the sense, right? The midbrain or mesencephalon is a portion of the central nervous system. So we are talking about CNS. There are other nervous system also, like peripheral nervous system, that we'll see later. Here is the function. Okay, so we'll move to the next, hindbrain, the last part of the brain. Hindbrain, otherwise called as rhombencephalon. Keep in mind, encephalon is nothing but brain. Okay, so position, it present at the back side of the brain. Parts, cerebellum, pons, medulla oblongata. Already in lower class, you have studied about the cerebellum, which controls the posture and balance, right? And then again, reflex action like respiratory, cardiac, all those things. Okay, this medulla oblongata will control. Here you can see the function in detail. It's the lowest part, the location. It includes medulla, pons and cerebellum. That's the parts of the hindbrain. And then the medulla and pons contain sensory neuron that transmit information from spinal cord to the forebrain. So this is a function. Again, it's a 1 mark question. Altogether, they may ask in 2 mark question. Medulla regulates the basic life functions such as heartbeat, respiration, vomiting, etc. These types of reflexes from the gut region or the respiratory tract. Okay, this is about midbrain. This is all together like a mind map, we can say, in brain. What are the different parts, the function? Okay, the same thing only in a gist I've given. Diencephalon, which is forebrain. We'll just write the starting letter, which belongs to which part of the brain. So this is forebrain. Mesencephalon, midbrain, right? And then telencephalon, cerebrum. Where is cerebrum? Cerebrum in the forebrain. So again, it belongs to forebrain. And metencephalon, cerebellum. Okay, don't confuse cerebrum, forebrain. Cerebellum is hindbrain. So I write it H. Then pons, where is pons? Again, it is a part of hindbrain. Then myelencephalon, it's a new term, make a note. Myelencephalon, where it is medulla oblongata. It's also a part of hindbrain. In next class, we'll see about the different types of nervous system. Already 1 nervous system we have completed, CNS. Okay, the remaining peripheral nervous system, somatic, all these things we'll see in detail. To receive our online lessons, please press the subscribe button and you will receive the latest updates. Thank you.